Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Six Path Weeb. Today's fanfiction discussion explores a unique and imaginative concept: what if Naruko descended from the heavens? Disclaimer. The content on this channel is intended solely for entertainment and discussion. I do not claim ownership of any anime footage featured in the videos. All rights and credits belong to their respective creators and copyright holders. Let's dive in. One day, an extraordinary event shook the Hidden Leaf Village, also known as Konoha. The powerful nine-tailed fox, known as the Kyubi no Kitsune, appeared without warning and began causing chaos throughout the village. Despite the efforts of the shinobi who defended their home with bravery and determination, the mighty strength of the Kyubi overwhelmed even their best techniques. It was said the Kyubi's power could shift the earth and skies with a mere flick of its tails. In the face of this immense threat, the fourth Hokage, the village's leader and most skilled ninja, made a courageous decision. Understanding the risk and weight of what was required, he chose to use a powerful and forbidden sealing technique. Calling upon a divine force, he entered into a sacred pact, not out of fear, but out of love for his village and hope for its future. This technique allowed him to contain the spirit and energy of the Kyubi within a newborn child, his own daughter, Naruko. However, this act came at a great cost, as it meant the fourth Hokage would give up his own life force in exchange. Before the ritual was completed, the Hokage looked upon his daughter one final time with tenderness in his eyes. He spoke with a soft voice filled with sorrow and hope. "I'm so sorry for the path I've set before you, my daughter. Please forgive me. My wish is for you to be seen as a symbol of courage, not fear." The divine spirit agreed to watch over the child with reverence, saying, "Your light will shine one day, young one. Even the greatest trials cannot keep you from your true path. Celestial Angel." And with that, the ritual was complete. The Kyubi's power was safely sealed inside the infant, and the guardian spirit disappeared, leaving no trace behind. Though the fourth Hokage had saved the village and protected its future, his wish for his daughter to be honored as a hero was sadly forgotten. 5 years later. A young girl with sun-kissed blonde hair was sprinting through the alleyways of Konoha, her small feet pattering softly against the stone paths. Her name was Naruko Uzumaki. Today, she found herself being chased, not for something she had done, but simply for who she was. Eventually, her strength gave out and she stumbled. Just as she thought things were about to get worse, masked shinobi arrived in time to intervene. One of them, wearing a mask shaped like a weasel, stepped forward, his voice calm yet firm. "What are you doing?" he demanded, clearly disapproving. "She's the one. The fox spirit lives inside her," a villager protested. "She is not the fox. She is a child," the shinobi replied firmly. He gently picked Naruko up and brought her to the specialized Onbu medical unit, ensuring she received proper care and protection. Elsewhere, the third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, was buried under a mountain of paperwork. When the door burst open and a masked Onbu stepped in, his focus shifted immediately. "Hokage-sama, Naruko is at the hospital again." In a flash, Hiruzen vanished using a teleportation technique and reappeared by Naruko's side. "And Naruko-chan, are you awake?" he asked gently. Gigi?" Naruko murmured, rubbing her eyes before flinching from discomfort. "Careful now. You're still healing." "What happened, Gigi? Why am I here?" The Onbu nearby spoke softly. "You don't remember last night?" Naruko's expression turned sorrowful as the memories rushed back. She wiped her eyes as she turned toward her grandfather figure. "Why, Gigi? Why do they always chase me?" Hiruzen looked down, his heart heavy with regret. "Minato. I wasn't able to protect her as you hoped. I'm sorry." That night, Naruko had a dream unlike any other. She stood in a serene meadow blanketed in wildflowers, stretching beyond the horizon. The skies were clear, the air peaceful. A gentle voice spoke, "Welcome." Naruko turned to see a graceful woman in a flowing white robe adorned with gold and silver jewelry. Her golden hair shimmered like sunlight, and her presence was both calming and radiant. "I am Hinako, the goddess of eternal blessing and harmony. I have watched over you, and I am here because your journey is about to begin." "Eh? Hinako-ne, where are we? Why me?" "This is the Meadow of Harmony," Hinako explained kindly. "And you, Naruko, are special. There is more to you than meets the eye." Naruko listened intently as Hinako spoke of different beings, humans, animals, spirits, and celestial guardians known as angels. Among them were those with special gifts, each with a unique purpose. Some were healers, others protectors, others messengers. They were not defined by good or evil, but by purpose and balance. And you, Hinako said, are a celestial angel in waiting. Meanwhile, back in Konoha, 3 Onbu and the Hokage stood silently near Naruko's bedside, watching over her with quiet protectiveness. Forgive me, Minato, the Hokage thought once more. She carries your hope, and I promise I'll do everything to help her shine. Just wait, Naruko, one Onbu thought with quiet resolve. One day, they'll all see who you truly are. And you, Naruko, are a celestial angel. One of my own. Wow. I'm really an angel? A celestial one? Naruko asked, eyes wide with wonder. Yes, it is true, Hinako responded kindly. But I'm not smart, though, Ne-chan. That's only because of something the humans placed on you. A restricting seal. A restricting seal? What is that? And why? It would seem that those who didn't understand your potential believed you to be limited, Hinako said gently. What? Naruko started to say, but Hinako took hold of her hand and softly began chanting in a different language. Purgatio Vox of Celestial Angelus. Cleansing voice of the celestial angel, take the hand of my descendant. Let the light cleanse her beyond time. Glowing seals began to appear all over Naruko's body, including the seal that had long held the energy of the Kyuubi. One by one, each seal floated above her skin and shimmered like fragments of glass before disappearing. As they vanished, a radiant light surrounded the meadow. Hinako shielded her eyes gently, watching from a distance as Naruko cried out, overwhelmed by the power. When the light faded, Naruko was resting peacefully on the grass, a soft white tunic adorning her. Small, gentle wings emerged from her back, glowing faintly. Standing beside her was a tall figure with vibrant red hair, dressed in a richly decorated dark red yukata with golden fox patterns. His presence was calm but powerful. Where am I? Naruko murmured as she stirred. Welcome, Kyuubi, to my sanctuary, Hinako spoke with grace. I am Hinako, the goddess of eternal blessing and harmony. Hinako-sama. The Kyuubi respectfully bowed. Please rise, Kyuubi. You honor me, but we must speak about your host, Uzumaki Naruko. The Kyuubi stood solemnly. Yes. What would you like to discuss about the young one? She is one of my own, a celestial angel. Considering what she has endured, I felt it was time she learned the truth. I've tried to protect her in every way I could, the Kyuubi replied earnestly. But the seal restricted my influence. I could heal her wounds, but that was all. I know, Hinako said kindly. I watched when Minato placed the seal upon you, and I know the truth. The chaos that occurred was caused not by you, but by a certain snake-like man named Orochimaru. You know about him? I feared I would be blamed for everything. But it brings peace to know you understand. As for Naruko, Hinako said gently, she must be guided. Her heritage is greater than she knows, and she is beginning to awaken to it. We will speak to her when she awakens. Meanwhile, in the village. Hokage-sama, she hasn't woken yet. Should we continue waiting? Asked the Onbu medic. Yes, Rin. I will wait as long as needed, replied the third Hokage calmly. Back in the meadow, Kyuubi turned to Hinako. So, besides us, will someone else be training her? Yes. There is another, but their time has not yet come. I understand. For now, we'll guide her. Hinako nodded. Yes, and now that she's free of those restricting seals, her development will no longer be hindered. I've placed an illusion on her so no one will notice the changes, not even the Hokage. That's wise. What about the whisker marks and the sudden growth? The marks are gone. Her body has been renewed. What remains now is her spirit, which is calm and open to understanding. Naruko's wings slowly vanished and her eyes fluttered open. She blinked and sat up slowly. Naruko's perspective. Uuk. Where am I? Then I remembered. Hinako-ne. What happened? I turned and saw her. And also someone tall with striking red hair. Who's that? Calm down, Naruko-chan, Hinako said gently. All your questions will be answered. When she spoke, I felt peace. Like a warm breeze on a quiet morning. Well, little one, the red-haired figure said kindly, let me tell you a story. I was about to speak, but Hinako gave me a serious look. I stayed quiet. Once, there was a fox who lived peacefully with his family. One day, While he was out searching for food, something tragic happened. When he returned, his family was gone. The cave smelled of snakes. In pain and confusion, he followed the scent, which led him to a village called Kanahagakur. Overwhelmed by grief, he lost control. During the event, a kind but brave ninja, the fourth Hokage, sealed the fox's energy into a newborn child. Into you, Naruko. What? No. That can't be. The fourth Hokage defeated it. Hinako raised her hand, finishing a calming spell. Dash. Let her see the truth. No illusion. No deception. Dash. Light surrounded me and I dropped to my knees. As the glow faded, everything became clear. Naruko-chan, Hinako said softly, extending her hand. Please, rise. I took her hand. Her smile was comforting. The truth is often hard to hear, but it is part of your journey. I understand now, Hinako-ne. I'm listening. Good. Kyubi was not the villain. He simply wanted to protect what he loved. The true danger came from Orochimaru, a former elite ninja who misused knowledge for selfish purposes. Kyubi quietly clenched his fists. I did too. That's not fair, I shouted. I know it's hard, Hinako said gently. But this is why we must help you grow stronger. I want to train, I said with determination. Then we'll begin soon, Hinako smiled. Dash. But there's more, Naruko, she said gently. There's something you must know about your family. I sat down, nodding. The fourth Hokage. Namikaze Minato. He is your father. My breath caught in my throat. But, why? Why would he seal the Kyubi into me? He didn't want to hurt you. His final wish was for you to be seen as a hero. He believed the village would honor that. But, sadly, many could not see beyond their own fears. He gave his life for peace, hoping you'd be cherished, not mistreated. I looked down and thought. Did he love me? Yes, Hinako said, kneeling in front of me. He loved you deeply. And your mother, Kushina Uzumaki, loved you too. Her heart was full of warmth, even as she faced great difficulty. She gave birth to you earlier than expected due to the chaos, and it cost her everything. She never got to raise me? No, dear one. But she left you something precious, the gift of your family's bloodline, the donum de angelis, or gift of the angel. Your mother's legacy. And from your father, you carry the voice of the wind, vox vocis de ventus. I have two bloodlines? Yes, Naruko-chan. You are truly unique. But to understand and use these gifts, we must train you. You and Kyubi will train me? Yes, Kyubi nodded. We'll guide you together. That's amazing, I said, smiling brightly. Hinako chuckled softly. For now, enjoy the moment. The training will be intense, but it will shape you into who you were always meant to be. I nodded eagerly. When do we start? A stormy beginning. It was a stormy night. The wind howled through the village, and thunder rumbled across the dark sky. Rain tapped steadily against the windows of the Anbu hospital, creating a calm rhythm amidst the storm's chaos. Inside one of the rooms, two figures rested peacefully. One was an elderly man in the traditional robes of the Hokage. In his arms was a small child, a young girl with bright blonde hair wearing a blue shirt and black pants. She was gently curled into the warmth of the old man's embrace. Suddenly, the wind softened and the thunder quieted. Thank you, Gigi. F for everything, the small girl murmured sleepily, her voice muffled as she snuggled closer to him. The old man smiled softly, a single tear sliding down his cheek. In response, he held her just a little closer, carefully, gently, and together they stayed like that as the storm passed. His smile never faded. Dash. A new day in Konoha. Morning arrived with a brilliance that cast golden light over the Hidden Leaf village. The previous night's storm had vanished, replaced with warmth and calm skies. The houses glowed under the sun's rays, and the streets bustled with renewed life. The elderly Hokage slowly stirred as the sunlight reached him. Blinking his eyes open, he looked down and saw the small child still resting in his arms. She slowly woke as well, rubbing her eyes and looking up at him with a soft smile. Good morning, Gigi. Later that morning, the two were seen walking hand in hand through the village toward the Hokage tower. Some people passing by gave them cold glances, but the girl, Naruko, didn't waver. She simply held tighter to the old man's hand. When they reached the entrance of the tower, the guards immediately stepped aside and bowed deeply to the Hokage. He returned their respectful gestures, and they made their way inside. Good morning, Hokage-sama. Good morning, Sandaime-sama. The greetings continued as they moved through the building. Just before reaching the Hokage's office, a woman who appeared to be in her middle years hurried over and bowed politely. Good morning, Hokage-sama. Dio, her voice halted as her eyes landed on Naruko. Her expression shifted, and she frowned. Excuse me, Hokage-sama, but why is she here? Naruko glanced at the woman, her gaze calm but firm. Then, in a soft whisper, she spoke words in a forgotten tongue. Uro a dynamos, impious mulier. Be still, unkind woman. The woman gasped and dropped to her knees, clutching her head in confusion and discomfort before she slowly slumped over in a faint. And Naruko? What did you do? The Hokage asked gently, blinking in astonishment. Nothing, Gigi. I mean, what could a 5-year-old like me possibly do? Naruko replied with an innocent look and a small smile. The Hokage sighed and signaled for an onbu to escort the woman to the medical ward. With that settled, they entered the Hokage's office. He took his seat behind the large desk while Naruko sat across from him, her expression suddenly growing serious. We need to talk, she said quietly. Flashback. We will begin your training tomorrow. But first, we must tell you the truth, said Hinako, her voice calm but firm. Naruko's eyes, filled with curiosity and quiet strength, focused on her mentor. As you may have heard, your mother was a guardian angel. But more specifically, she was known as a soul guide, one who helped protect the balance between kindness and cruelty in the world. Naruko listened intently, remaining silent. There are many kinds of angels, Naruko. Your mother came from a group who were gifted with clarity, quiet strength, and guidance. When a division formed among their kind, most joined a new realm created by a great leader named Eden. But your mother's great-grandfather, Shin, stayed behind and created a sanctuary in the land of whirlpools for those who still believed in the original ways. That sanctuary eventually became the land known as Uzu no Kuni. But a great war scattered its people. Those who survived found refuge here, in Konoha. Your mother was one of them, known to the world as the Crimson Guardian. She was both kind and strong, and eventually she fell in love with Namikaze Minato, who later became the 4th Hokage. Though their love was quiet and hidden, it was deep and true. Naruko nodded silently. You were born early because of the powerful energy that had gathered around the village. Your mother and father worked together to protect the people they loved. Your father created a seal to contain a dangerous energy spirit, the QB. He chose to entrust you with this task, not out of cruelty, but because he believed you were strong enough, kind enough, and worthy. Naruko's eyes shimmered as tears welled up, but Hinako gently hugged her, comforting her without saying a word. When the Hokage returned, he took you before the council. Very few knew your true lineage. Only the Hokage, Lady Tsunade, and Master Jiraiya were aware. Sadly, some members of the council made unwise decisions while the Hokage was away. They placed limitations on your potential out of fear, not understanding who you were or what you could become. Naruko quietly embraced Hinako back, her small arms tight around her. But don't worry, Naruko, she whispered. Even in the midst of misunderstanding, there are always those who see with clear hearts. You are not alone. Naruko gave a small smile. I understand, Hinako-ne. Not everyone is the same. Some people believe in hope. Yes. And now, it's time for you to understand who you truly are. Hinako looked into Naruko's eyes and continued. You are what we call a celestial angel. These are rare, peaceful guardians who possess great potential and harmony within. They have the ability to heal, to connect with nature, and to bring balance to troubled hearts. They do not seek control, they serve through compassion. I will help you discover that side of yourself, Hinako promised. End of flashback. Naruko sat still, her young face full of thought. She wasn't the ordinary child many mistook her for. She was learning who she was, what she could be. And with every step, she was growing into her strength not through power or force, but through heart. What is it, Naruko-chan? The Hokage asked gently, a bit unsettled by the serious expression on her face. I want to know who my parents were, Naruko said with quiet determination. What, Naruko-chan, your father. Please, just tell me the truth, Gigi, she said, cutting him off politely but firmly. The Hokage sighed deeply, then nodded. All right, Naruko-chan. He dismissed the Onbu guards with a gesture, and then activated special privacy seals to ensure their conversation remained absolutely confidential. Your father was Namikaze Minato, the 4th Hokage of our village. Naruko gave a small smile. I had a feeling. But I want to hear about him from you. The Hokage blinked in surprise. How did she know? He composed himself and smiled fondly. Your father was a courageous and compassionate leader. I want you to understand why I chose to give you your mother's last name instead of his. You see, your father made many enemies, especially in the Hidden Stone Village, due to his involvement in the last great ninja war. He earned the title Konoha's Yellow Flash because of a unique technique he developed, called the Flying Thunder God. To keep you safe from those who might have targeted you because of him, I gave you your mother's name instead. I understand, Gigi. Thank you for explaining it to me. What about my mother? Naruko asked with curiosity sparkling in her eyes. Her name was Uzumaki Kushina. She came from the land of whirlpools, a place that sadly was affected during the war. Despite everything, she was strong-willed, caring, and truly one of a kind. People knew her as the Crimson Heart. Wow. That's amazing, Gigi. Did they leave anything behind? For me? The Hokage chuckled softly, walking over to a hidden panel in the wall. He revealed a small compartment and retrieved 2 scrolls from inside. These are from your parents. They're sealed with both a chakra seal and a spiritual connection only you can access. For the first, you'll need to place a drop of your chakra. For the second, channel some of your energy into the scroll. Naruko accepted the scrolls with wonder, cradling them in her small hands. Thank you, Gigi. You're welcome, Naruko. Then, as if remembering something, the Hokage moved to another concealed safe and withdrew another scroll. This is a combined journal and guide your parents created. It includes foundational ninja knowledge and insights that they wanted you to have when the time was right. Naruko's arms were full, so the Hokage took out a storage scroll, sealed all 3 inside, and handed her the now compact scroll. Here, it's all stored in this one. Only your chakra will unlock it. I haven't read any of them, so approach them with care and an open heart. Naruko tucked the scroll safely into her pouch, then suddenly ran up and gave the Hokage a big hug. Thank you, Hokage Gigi. I'll see you later, she said cheerfully before hurrying out of the office. The Hokage watched her go with a sigh, smiling fondly before returning to his desk. As Naruko made her way toward the Hokage monument, she reflected quietly. So my parents really did care. Even my father. She smiled softly, reaching the hidden valley behind the monument, a quiet place she often visited for peace. Flashback. Your training will be tough, but in the end, it will benefit you in amazing ways, Hinako said, her tone gentle yet firm. Naruko nodded enthusiastically. Now that I've told you about your mother, you'd like to hear about your father too, right? Naruko nodded again and again, until Hinako gently placed a hand on her head and smiled. Your father was Namikaze Minato, the 4th Hokage. Like your mother, he was also an orphan, but he rose above every challenge. He trained under one of the great masters, Jiraiya of the legendary 3. Eventually, he became Hokage. He possessed a rare ability called the Voice of the Wind. This power complemented your other inherited gift, the Heavenly Blessing. The Voice of the Wind allowed him to connect with the wind itself, to hear its messages and move with its guidance. It helped him develop the Flying Thunder God technique, even though he only had part of the bloodline's full power. You, however, inherited the complete form of it. Once mastered, it will allow you to move and listen through the wind like never before. Because of seals that had been placed on you, you weren't able to access these gifts until now. But since I removed those seals, your full potential is awakening. I'll continue to help you learn how to use these abilities. Naruko looked thoughtful for a moment, then asked softly. What about the Kyuubi? What will she do? As Naruko ran toward the training grounds behind the Hokage monument, one thought kept echoing in her mind. Maybe today, Kyuubi will finally tell me something important. Once she arrived, Naruko immediately sat down in a lotus position and began to meditate peacefully. She soon found herself in a familiar place, an enchanting meadow filled with gentle breezes and vibrant flowers. Nearby, Hinako sat among the blossoms, looking calm and graceful. A few feet away, Kyuubi rested with his back against a strong tree trunk, apparently just waking up from a nap. Hinako stood and offered a warm smile. Kyuubi stretched, letting out a small yawn, then also stood. I see you've learned quite a bit from the 3rd Hokage and retrieved your parents' scrolls, Hinako said softly. Naruko nodded, her eyes shining with curiosity. Then Kyuubi spoke, his voice deep but kind. So, little one, I bet you're wondering what I'll be doing while Hinako teaches you how to use your special gifts properly, huh? Naruko nodded again, giving a curious glance as Kyubi chuckled. After a moment, he continued, let me explain. You see, because you were once my host, your body absorbed some of my energy. That means you've gained some unique abilities, let's call them special talents. Naruko listened closely and nodded thoughtfully. And so, Kyubi added, I'll teach you how to use those talents in a helpful and wise way. But, Kazu ni. Naruko hesitated, using the affectionate name she'd given him long ago. Kyubi smiled warmly at the memory. Flashback. While Naruko was asleep one night, she found herself thinking of all the people who had shown her kindness. Hinako ne, Hokage Jiji, the masked guards. And Kyubi. Even in her sleep, she whispered, thank you, Jiji, for everything. Without realizing it, she was transported to her mindscape, a meadow of light and calm. There, she saw Kyubi resting peacefully under a tree. Overcome with emotion, she ran toward him and wrapped her arms around him tightly. The great fox spirit blinked in surprise, then gently returned the hug. Thank you, she sniffled through her tears. Kyubi gave a kind smile and said, you're very welcome, little one. Don't worry. Then, almost shyly, he added, my name is Kazuki. Naruko smiled brightly, her eyes still teary, and snuggled into his arms, whispering gently, Kazu ni. Flashback end. But, Kazu ni, Naruko asked softly, won't my mother's powers cancel this out? Not at all, Kazuki replied, it's more like gaining extra strength, you're not losing anything. Just learning to grow. Hinako added gently, now that your celestial nature has awakened, it won't be too difficult for you to learn control over your energy. But you'll still need to put in real effort. Naruko tilted her head. Then, how do I train my control? Hinako smiled. We have a few beginner exercises. They're well-known techniques like tree walking, water walking, and weapon balancing. Tree walking. Weapon balancing? Naruko repeated in wonder. Tree walking means placing energy at the soles of your feet to stick and walk up a tree. You need just the right amount. Too much or too little, and you'll slip. Hinako then held a leaf on her palm. Weapon balancing is focusing your energy to lift an object. Watch. With concentration, the leaf slowly rose above her hand. Naruko's eyes sparkled with excitement. I recommend starting with a small rock, Hinako said. Then try with a kunai, a shuriken, and eventually a senbon needle. Smaller objects are trickier. I'll try now. Naruko held up a leaf and focused. The leaf floated a little. She beamed. Hinako ne, Kazu ni, look. I did it. Hinako nodded proudly. Kazuki patted her head with a smile. You're catching on. Just keep practicing. Kazuki then gave her more instructions. Train your agility, speed, stealth, and stamina. Strength training will come later. For now, I want you to play some pranks. Naruko blinked. Pranks? Kazuki nodded. Harmless ones. They'll help sharpen your mind, planning, thinking on your feet, creativity. And while you're running and hiding, you'll build endurance and agility. Plus, it's fun. Naruko thought for a moment. So, it's like part of my character training? Exactly. We want you to become someone who can think, feel, and choose wisely. Not a mindless follower. Naruko grinned. I'll train hard and be clever. Good, Hinako said, but that's not all. We want you to read and study, too. I still need to learn to read though. Actually, Kazuki explained, as a celestial, you have a gift called omnigualism. You'll naturally begin to understand and learn every language as time goes on. Wow. So I can really learn all that? With effort, Hinako added. We'll teach you the angelic tongue, Latin, and more. Kazuki will teach you the language of the spirit beasts. And you'll be able to sense and understand animals, not through words, but through spirit connection, Kazuki said with a chuckle. That's amazing. Kazuki smiled. We'll also make you a knowledge seeker, someone who gathers and archives knowledge from many worlds. But first, you must begin your journey. But how will I learn so much so fast? That's where the shadow clone technique comes in, Hinako said. Back at the Hokage Tower, an old man sneezed while shuffling through paperwork. Minato. You never told me how to survive this mountain of forms. The Cage Bunshin no Jutsu is a special technique, Hinako explained. Unlike regular clones, these are solid and can learn, feel, and explore just like you. With a few hand signs and a gentle word, Hinako created a glowing illusion. It demonstrated the hand signs and summoned a perfect clone. Now you try, she encouraged. Naruko focused, formed the hand signs, and shouted, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. A puff of smoke appeared, and 10 Narukos stood beside her. Kazuki clapped. Excellent. This is a high-level technique. Very impressive. This technique lets you gather knowledge quickly, Hinako added. When a clone disappears, all it learned is returned to you. Naruko gasped, so I can have them read books and I'll learn too? Exactly. But be careful, Hinako warned. Only release a few clones at a time so your mind isn't overwhelmed. Thank you, Hinako-ne. Also remember, Kazuki said, only your real self can grow stronger through physical training. Clones help your mind, but your body must work on its own. Hi, Kazu-ni. I'll work hard. Kazuki smiled. Good. Now you may read the letters from your parents. Naruko turned to leave, but Hinako gently held her arm. Don't forget to meditate, she said. Not just to clear your mind, but to find calm and listen to the world around you. That form of meditation will help you anywhere. Hinako released her hand with a kind smile. Be safe, little one. Remember, Kazuki and I are always watching over you. Naruko smiled brightly, nodded, and gently faded from the meadow. As she vanished, Kazuki turned to Hinako. She's going to do amazing things. Right, Hinako-sama? Hinako closed her eyes and smiled. Without a doubt. Naruko opened her eyes and glanced around. She quickly realized she was back at the quiet spot hidden behind the Hokage mountain. With calm focus, she stood up and brought her hands together in a familiar seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, she said. In an instant, 35 shadow clones appeared. They respectfully bowed to their original, who offered them a warm smile. 10 of you, please work on the tree walking exercise. Another 10, practice walking on water. The next 10, focus on leaf balancing. The remaining 5, I want you to meditate. As Naruko gave each instruction, she gestured toward the appropriate locations, the towering trees, a serene nearby lake, and a wide clearing filled with fallen leaves. The clones nodded and quickly got to work, each beginning their assigned training. Naruko then unsealed a scroll after applying a chakra seal. A single scroll emerged, it was her father's scroll. She placed the smaller scroll back into her pocket and opened the one addressed to her. She did this by placing her hand on the spirit seal and channeling chakra into it. To Naruko. Hey there, Naruko. How are you? By the time you read this, I imagine you're already a Genin. I'm sorry for the responsibility I'm leaving you with, but I truly believe in you. I couldn't entrust this to anyone else. You see, the 9-tailed fox was sealed inside you on the day of your birth. My final wish was for you to be seen as a hero, and I hope people honored that wish. I don't have much time left, so I'll get straight to the point. You have inherited not one, but 2 unique abilities, one from me, and one from your mother. I can't say for sure whether both will awaken, but I want to tell you about them anyway. My ability is called the Voice of the Wind. Though I was never able to fully awaken it myself, I worked around it by creating a technique called Hiraishin, but that's for later. This ability allows one to connect with and control the wind. Within this scroll, I've included 3 smaller scrolls. One for our clan's techniques, which I know you'll learn well. One for the Hiraishin technique, which I hope you'll improve even more. And one for my other technique, the Rasengan. It's not fully completed yet, but I know you'll figure it out. Before I close this letter, I want to say something important. Your mother and I love you very much. We believe in your strength and kindness. By the way, Jiraiya and Tsunade of the Sannin are your godparents, they will take good care of you. We love you, our daughter. With love. Namikaze Minato. P.S. To reseal this scroll, just say Fuin. I was pretty skilled with seals, you know. As Naruko read the letter, she noticed drops of moisture on the paper. Once she finished, she allowed herself a quiet moment, her heart warm with joy. They really did love me. After gently resealing the scroll, she brought out another, this time, the one from her mother. To Naruko. Hello my sweet Naruko. This is your mother, Kushina Uzumaki. I'm writing this letter with a hopeful heart, knowing you'll read it someday. At this moment, you're still growing inside me, only about 7 months along. No one knows I'm writing this, not even your father, but I wanted you to have something from me, just in case I can't be there with you. If I am there, then I'll be smiling and hugging you tight. But if not, I hope these words can be a gentle reminder of how much I love you. I believe in you with all my heart, whether I'm with you or watching over you from afar. I know you'll shine like the brilliant light that you are. I also want to tell you something special about your heritage. You've inherited a unique gift, my own bloodline, and possibly your father's too. Mine is known as the heavenly gift of the angel. Our clan, the Uzumaki, is descended from a line of spiritual protectors. We are known for our strength, resilience, and compassion. I am part of a group once called Angels, and there are many different types, each with different strengths and purposes. I've included 4 scrolls for you. One about the history of the Uzumaki clan. One about our traditional techniques. One with special techniques I created. And the last contains information about my spiritual weapon, the Falx de Nex Angelus, a treasured legacy passed through generations. Everything you need to know will be in those scrolls. But more than any of that, remember this above all. I love you, and I always will. Love. Your mother. Kushina Uzumaki. Naruko smiled gently as she closed the scroll. This time, she didn't cry. Instead, her heart felt strong. I will honor my parents' wishes. I'll carry their legacy proudly. With confidence, she resealed the scroll and took out the final one. To Naruko. This scroll will guide you through the basics, and as you grow, it will evolve to challenge you with more advanced lessons. It is protected by a guardian spirit. If you wish to meet the spirit and begin your journey, you must call upon it. We believe in you. With love. Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina. With determination in her voice, Naruko began the ritual. Custodes alle scientia, societatio. Keeper of this knowledge, awaken. And so, her new path of training began, guided by love, legacy, and an unshakable spirit. Dear YouTube community. That concludes today's update. If you enjoyed the content, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel for more. Thank you for your continued support. Best regards. 6 Path Weeb.